Got Rabbit in the gang here. We got Rock. We got Yoko. We got Queen. And am I missing anybody? I think that's everyone. Rock, Yoko, Queen, Pop. Yeah, that's us. The whole team is here. Um, Topic today, we're talking on the relationship right between experience and expression, but more so as far as the truth in relations to that, right? So the reality of it, like everybody has a way that they identify with truth or the reality of things. And I did to challenge, right, that what most people identify as truth or the reality is nothing more than an effect of the reality. So I believe that the experience is the true truth of anything in life, not the expression. So, you have good days, you have bad days. We all weigh that based off the way life presents itself to us. I don't feel that that defines the experience because, despite of that, we also do have people that can can have a day that's expressed the same way that you may deem a bad day, and they experience a good day. So I want to touch or dive a little bit more on that. And I got the gang with me to give y'all their perspective or, they take on this whole theory that we've been, building on lately. So how y'all feeling though? Yoko, Rock, Pop, what's good, y'all? Like
What's going on? What's going on?
what y'all think on what I just said?
I think that what you just said is valuable. I think that expression and experience do go hand in hand. I think that when we speak on subjective and objective things,
Mm-hmm.
I think that experience is the subjective portion of it, and I think that expression is the objective portion. I would say experience is, a personal aspect, right? You experience things when you participate in it, and the expression of it is how you communicate it, outward manifestation. So when you experience something, it's an outward manifestation of an expression. And I think that certain experiences are
Right.
subjective simply because when you hold those in and you're not able to communicate your perceptions, your beliefs, your emotions, and all of these things, I think that influences your experience, if that
Mm-hmm.
makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm. So
So I,
it's like it's almost like you're saying like of the experience is creating an experience within itself. Like,
I can see that.
you
I
know,
mean, I can see that. I mean, so with experience, I would say it would be two roads. You
mm-hmm.
can either express yourself or you not. So you can communicate effectively or you could communicate ineffectively. Not at all. You can receive something, you can learn something from experience, and that be something sort of like self awareness. Or you can actually participate in something and experience something, and everybody learn as a conglomerate.
Right, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. What you think about that, Rob?
When I look at the word expression, it's like, okay, what is that? And that comes from emotions. The observer experiences the emotion with an attachment. Expression has the letter, begins with the letter E. My understanding, E is a math equation that represents energy as an E equals MC squared. So the expression is the action word, and that action got a lot to do with character. So the experience is definitely more important because the expression becomes the ego,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want no part of that, in my life where it's like I rather become the observer because I did that part, you know, expression,
Mm-hmm.
all the traumas I went through, how I chose to allow, you know, experiences that affect me, the trauma. Like, I thought she broke my heart, but she didn't break my heart. I did that shit myself.
So how would you identify within that scenario the expression and the experience? What was the expression and what was the experience you would say in that scenario?
Well. The thing is experience is the part, as they say, go for the ride. It's the ride that counts. That's the part that I try to, I apply effort to enjoy, but not get attached to it. knowing that attachment is, I mean, the detachment is the seventh law of my experience here. With like, be careful. Like, you have bad times and good times, but don't get attached to the shit. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
the expression part is like, let me humble myself and like, I don't want to express myself no more. I just want to observe myself. Like I mentioned before, that woman from the movie Doctor Strange. Her character was so subtle. Like she barely laughed or chuckled. She was more into the experience versus the expression. I thought that was dope.
Mm.
Hmm.
So go
It's
back and
interesting.
watch. See what I'm talking about, right? Like go back and watch that movie, but study the character of her, of that woman who was teaching him about his internal. It was like she barely like she smiled lightly, but she barely like expressed her emotions. She just existed and became an observer. You don't
Hmm.
get too attached, you know what I'm saying? Like if I'm getting some pussy and shit, it's just some sex. Like don't get too caught up in, you know what I'm saying? Experience the moment, let the shit go. That way it ain't no all fall in love or catch the feelings type shit because you know the experience is not trying to be dictated by the ego. Oh, that's my favorite experience, or that's my bad experience, or not favorite experience. It was like I don't want to do that. So I just try to be the observer, God. You know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause I
Right.
am generating this shit, and I'm able to destroy it. So let me observe it and embrace the experience.
I think that both are important. I don't think that one is more important than the other. I think experience is what you go through, and expression is how you share and communicate it with other people.
Yeah, there's
So,
the action.
I mean, wouldn't they both be an action? I mean, because you can't
Yeah,
experience.
experience. Yeah, it's yeah because like see, but
I mean, I like
uh,
what you were saying about the E and the energy because there is an
yeah, right.
energy. Like you was going somewhere with that. I was listening. I was
Well,
following along.
I go you more on it. All right, so the
Mhm.
energy, cause like, all right, here's the thing, like, from my studies and my comprehension, like, hey, yo, help me out here. Like, this is open. Like, interject if y'all need to. Our conscious is the energy. In the corridor of our mind, the realm of as you know, the brain sits on the deep, dark waters, which in EFI they call Oluku. It's right below Yamaya, you know what I'm saying? Where light don't reach. But every, like, thought is an energy. Like, when you open your hand, close your hand, y'all do know that's electric impulses your brain sends to open and close your hand. So your conscious is really the energy part. So when I
So
look
let me
at
ask you. Let me ask you a question. So, what would you say? Would you say thought? You say thought and energy. Which one would be the experience, and which one would be then the expression? In your opinion,
the thought itself, God,
is which
because
one is what?
the thought would be the experience.
Mm.
It's like traveling without moving. Like if you realize, like, all right, bring your conscious to this level, right? Y'all niggas never step foot on Earth. You're just a projection. Because like when you die, you still there's no end. It's written in stone. What they said, death is the beginning. I mean, death is only the beginning. There is an existence. So the experience is like I'm here on Earth for a certain amount of time. Let me not get caught up or just experience where I'm staying present. I'm in the now. It's the Eckhart Tolle shit. Like, go study his work. The motherfucker on point with this shit. Like, it literally is where your life is at. Is the expression of now to where, like, the expression is, okay, I'm excited, I'm happy because I'm having a good time. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm
Yeah,
sad, I'm feeling bad. You know what I'm saying?
I get it.
We get caught up with that. We identify that with the ego.
I get what you're saying. Cause all right. So the way I connected it, right? You say it's energy would be the expression, and the thought is the experience. That it makes sense from the way I look at it. Whereas energy we can look at as life, right? The universe,
Right,
everything is
right.
energy, right? Um, but the way energy, it's crazy how it's backwards, right? Because they would say energy is
Excuse me.
expressing itself as a person, as a star, as gas, whatever it might be. But
Solid to the gas,
it's
right?
the other way, it's the other way around. You feel me? Like energy, all that's energy. The experience of the energy, right? Or of that expression would be the star, would be the gas, would be the human. That's the experience, right? Like, so if everything is energy, right? Look at everything on earth. You got humans, you got plants, you got animals, you got koalas, alligators, whatever, all the a whole nine, right? All of it is energy, bro. All of it is energy. All of it. is expressed as energy, but all the experiences is individualized, right? Because no matter if everything on earth is energy, the experience is being a human, the experience is being a butterfly, the experience is being this or that. So what you're saying makes so much sense, because the thought will be like the personalization of energy, right?
Now,
So that is the experience. I get where you're coming from that
let me
perspective.
add though. Remember, God, you put me on a perspective where you were saying, like, asking me a question, how do I view myself in the morning? You know what I'm saying? And you mentioned that this is light. This is the light realm. So it's like, what's the opposite of energy? Stillness, nothingness, motionless.
No energy. Right.
Right? Exactly. Right. Right. And see, just like you identify energy, what I'm trying to get is we've been programmed not to identify with the, like, as you call it, inhale, or the stillness, where that stuff that defines that. It's the space. See, all right, God is nothing. Literally, God is nothing. But literally, everything comes from nothing. Remember the big bang or the But first there was the void of silence, and we were dealing with the mindset, the kind of subconscious. This is what we have to identify with, where the expression and also the experience. Where, okay, the experiencer, who the experiencer, the consciousness. This is what I learned in Yoruba or Ifa, the Ori or the Orisha, the ORI, the relation to the word home.
Mm-hmm.
It, identifying yourself to a level. There's 5 levels to it. I only understand the first level. Well, barely, but the whole concept is to see that this is not you. You're not that person in the mirror. Like, you're just the observer.
You're not that expression. You
Right,
see.
right. But the experience is just okay. Experience it, because look at old people. We're gonna die. We this is not forever. Like, and I think we get caught up with that shit in the ego, where we identify where, like, you think you're a teacher, you think you're a fireman, a police officer, you know what I'm saying, or president. No, nigga, you nothing, you nobody, you nothing. It's all ego,
But
and
you
that's the
but
that's
you
the
know
experience.
when you say
Mm-hmm.
nothing though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what you what's so profound by it is that people may hear you say that, and they'll take it in a condescending manner, but the way I perceive it, right, it's the most liberating perspective to have, right? Because being nothing means that you're not confined or limited by any conditions that you need to be able to be anything. You understand?
Egoless, God, egoless.
Right. So that too, that too correlates to this expression experience thing, right? So even in relationships, right? Um,
Oh,
people
good one.
be
Here
in
we go.
relationships, not just using it as an example, right?
You
Scenario,
good?
right?
Go ahead, God.
Many people will determine the quality or value of their relationship based off the way that is expressed to them, right? So like we could be having a rocky time right now. And the way that is expressed, they will allow that to dictate their experience within a relationship.
Yeah.
And I think that's so counterproductive, because you can never grow, or you can never
Watch
hope.
this.
You can never hope, right? For
Watch this.
anything. What's that?
All right. To add on, you threw the alley up. I'm slam dunk it, right? What you saying is this. This is what they do, especially women, when it comes to relationship. Is they don't. They okay. They so much ego. They don't realize. Maybe they do, but most part they don't realize that they have this ego, and they make this selection. They choose this individual, and we all gods and goddesses, and all our powers work for us naturally. We just choose to ignore them shits and then become victims, right? And but when it comes to character, so she'll meet someone new, and because her experience was traumatized based off her choices, she'll project that past experience that no longer exists, but in her mind, the energy of thought exists, to where she'll project it into the present to that new person, where it manifests itself because she's the feminine, she's the subconscious. You got me now?
I get what you're saying, but just not to play devil advocate with you, but I think that's something that both male and females deal with. I
Yeah. I
think
agree with you.
I think a lot of us, like as men, tend to feel, women do it too, but I think we tend to feel like a strong resonance in it being done on our side more than the other, because that's the only particular disposition that we have to relate with. You feel me? All
Yeah.
we have is our own subjectivity, and experience in relations to that. And a lot of times that too, that something causes the condition, the limitation that keeps us in that box that I was just speaking about earlier. You feel me?
I agree
Like just
100%.
identifying with that limits and refines that, so it's funny like that earlier you mentioned about the nothingness and the ego. You in a way just identify with the ego in a way that you associated with that complex, and my way is trying to remove people from that expression, because you identified just now with the expression through that scenario. Not saying you particularly, Rock, but just the scenario you just used, right? That is the expression, right? And I'm trying to get people to stop focusing and emphasizing on the expression, and more so the experience, because like we said before, that despite the expression, right, the expression does not define the experience. Malcolm X, right? Malcolm X, a great black leader, right, in the community. He wasn't, before he went to prison, he was running the streets. He wasn't too aligned in
Ego.
a narrow role, right? it wasn't
Right.
until
He's
he
humble.
was in it wasn't until he was in an environment or an expression, quote unquote, that many people would deem being not able to be something liberating or something that a person can leverage. And he actually utilized that expression to have one of the most profound experiences a person can have. Right? When he was in there, he read the whole dictionary, if I'm not mistaken. And really aligned himself to the man he became, as far as for the man we know him today. And a lot of that was the prison was the catalyst for that, or him being incarcerated was a catalyst to that. So my point that I'm trying to make is that when you don't identify with the expressions, right, you don't allow the limitations or conditions within the expressions to cause you to have restrictions within your experience. You understand? It's really embodying that nothingness, like you said. But I
And
heard you say something, or I hear you about to say some Rock. Say what you want to say, but I want to hear what Queen has to say after you're done.
all right, the how. All right, the how part. It's okay. I stress this, right? Right. I'm giving y'all a jewel, a cookie crumb, to go where I'm already there. You're already there also, but you don't realize it because you don't study the silence in your life or the stillness in your life. You don't take time to really nurture that shit. You know what I mean? But there's tools that's necessary that you can use to help you when you understand vibrations. Where it's expression, which is motion. The most important, the silence and stillness. So like, you know, get you a singing bowl. Get the frequencies, and because these frequencies exist within us. And remember, these frequencies, sound is what that can destroy or build anything. Like it's that deep. And I'm just saying, like, to understand when you win that sound of that bell or that singing bowl, it teaches you about silence and stillness, and that brings you more aware to the nothingness within you.
Mm-hmm. I
And
feel
it's
that.
profound. It's like when you hear music, y'all, like you hear music, love your favorite song, the beat got you, the beat you love, the beat. I'm telling you, it ain't about the beat. It's the silence that defines the silence between the beat that makes you feel, makes you wanna. It's the it's the pause of the stillness, and then the expression. You know what I'm saying, we caught up in the expression more than the stillness to comprehending expression. No, wait, am I saying it right? The experience. I mean, the experience. My bad. The experience. Yeah, the beat is the experience, right? But the silence help you uh, come with the expression. Like, oh, this beat is the shit. I'm feeling this shit. You think it's the beat, but it's the silence that's doing this shit to you. That makes sense.
No, I feel you coming
Yeah, I
from.
get you.
And so, all right. So, if you ever hear your own heartbeat, next time you do, pay attention to the space, not the beat, but the sounds come between the beats. That should open corridors in your subconscious. Like, it's making my head itch right now. I'm getting deep with it, but
Yeah.
it's real.
But like to stay on topic though, I want to hear what
Yeah,
Queen
go
have to
ahead.
say. What you have to say, Queen?
So for the most part, what I'm definitely here today as a more of a listener, kind of understanding. But like from what I grasp from everything, I feel that initially, it's about really just understanding reality,
Right.
or in a sense, our reality, or however you're looking at it. And I I kind of get from the expression and experience, because well, this is my take on it. I don't know if this
Yeah.
is kind of where you're going, but just to
You
kind of
good?
simplify it in a way, I guess, for other people who may be listening to understand, because life itself is very like arbitrary and contextual. So as you explained before, like how people, go through the same thing and feel different
Mm-hmm.
ways, based off of whim, context, situations,
Mm-hmm.
from what I'm gathering from expression and experience, would you guys agree that it's, instead of like expression versus experience, it could also be about like what you feel of it versus what you grow, like how you grow from it?
Um, what you, I was, yeah. So I think that's a good question, right? Um, I would identify the feeling as part of the expression.
Right.
Yeah, so like, yeah,
Right.
expression versus experience and what you feel of it versus how you grow from it.
Yeah. So not necessarily because growing don't necessarily have to be the experience. This the like so. For example, you could say you feel this, right? Like you could be in a relationship with a person and be like, I really feel like I'm in love with them. I really feel like I'm gonna spend the rest of the world with them, right? But there's that's what you feel, but there's something that you're experiencing that's causing you to feel that. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So my biggest thing is like I don't I think that a lot of people misidentify the feeling with that reality or with that experience. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And feelings flee, feelings are temporary, and sometimes what you feel for a person or feel for anything, sometimes the things that's influencing that feeling has nothing to do with the thing that you identifying that feeling for, and there's no way for us to really assess and discern every little thing because you may like the color pink, and there's so many things subconsciously and consciously that's adding to the reason why that color resonate with you. And I'm saying those reasons are the true experience behind that feeling. Like that's the true reality, the true truth behind what it is for why and what you feel it. Because a
So would you?
feeling needs something. Feeling needs a
So would.
catalyst. Sorry.
No, 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 it's okay. Sorry to cut you off. Would you then say, I'm just kind of like trying
No,
to
no, you
like
good, you good, you good. This is
understand
good.
it
This is
from
good
my
because a
my
lot of people will have
perspective.
questions too. This is good.
Yeah, trying to understand from my perspective. I guess grow was maybe the wrong word, because yeah, you don't always need to grow. So what I'm grasping is like, one is kind of like a and maybe this is an altruistic view I'm having, but like maybe like a feminine masculine energy. Like one is more of a push and a pull. So it's like, instead of like what you feel versus what you grow, like what you feel from it, like your expression is like outward onto the
Yeah.
reality versus how you receive it, like whatever you take in the experience, like what's happening to you or what you gain from it, or like.
I get what you're saying.
Right.
I get exactly what you're saying.
Basically,
That's that.
experience is internal, expression is external. Yeah.
I get what you're
Experience
saying.
is receptive, expression is creative.
I get what you're saying. That's not exactly the theory where I'm coming from, but I'm interested in hearing you like build on that, like because maybe some people may agree with that particular perspective, and after you lay that out, then maybe we can like compare and contrast and see where ours meet. Because I kind of see what you're saying kind of intermesh within what I'm saying. Like even
Yeah.
masculine and feminine works within expression, and masculine and feminine works within experience. But I get where you coming from with it, and I'm interested in hearing how, like how you analyze that, how you come with that, how you
So
looking at that.
to relate it back to kind of like the Malcolm X
Hmm.
experience you had, like the expression, like he went to a prison where, of course, like he was limited to what he's used to, so that feeling of like confinement, and I don't know how he would exactly feel, but
Hmm.
I'm guessing there were a lot of negative emotions. So because of that, that was something that was emanate inside of him, and the experience, what he received from it was, he received the negative, he received the positive, but what he received from it was also um something more of like gained experience, or like gain consciousness, or
His intent.
how his intent. Yeah, I'm kind of struggling with the words
It's
because it's
okay. It's
still
okay.
kind of a
It's good.
very
It's good.
very intangible
Yeah, it's all
thing for
right.
me that I'm still working on, like trying to
It's
figure out. But that's kind of where I'm coming from with
right,
it.
right. It's like
Um,
let me condense it, right, to make it sound more like generic, right? So pretty much what you're saying in a way is that the experience, right? The experience is defined by the intent. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it is. It's like allowing the intentions to be experienced despite the expressions and relations to it. Because that's what he
mhm.
did. Like he had intentions despite feeling whatever he was feeling. He didn't allow none of those feelings to weigh him or sway him from that
Yeah.
intended experience. You understand?
And
He had
even back to the relationship,
right,
kind of it correlates with that too.
right,
Like
right,
you may
right.
feel like, yeah, okay, this person, even it may relate more with a marriage, but you may feel like this person, doesn't really like love you, or you're kind of going through a hard spot right now because of those feelings. But the intent was, I
Mm-hmm.
decided that I'm gonna marry this person. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna be. I chose to be with this
That
person.
experience. You chose that
And
experience. Right.
that's what I'm gonna decide to do.
Exactly.
Just trying to word it,
Exactly.
like simplify it for like our viewers,
Exactly.
because I
Yep,
think
that's it.
there's two different levels of understanding. People, like how you said, like when he said nothing, a lot of people will hear that and say, so I want to clarify for
Right,
those
right,
people who may not grasp
right.
as easily like what we're kind of trying to understand. I'm trying to
Exactly.
figure that out.
Yeah, it's good. And even because I thought about what you said while you were speaking earlier about the masculine and feminine, and I found a way to rationalize, or not even rationalize, make logic or make sense out of it actually being distinct. So both, I'm gonna say, both possess both polarities of masculine and feminine, right? Both experience and expression. But despite of that, both of them independently symbolically represents this respectful opposite poles, right? Let me tell you how. Experience would be the feminine pole and expression would be the masculine pole. Why? Because expression is defined by conditions, right?
Hmm.
And conditions is something formatted to structure. Structure, masculine, it got to be logical, measurement,
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
expression. That's expression. Think about it. Life, this reality, everything in your life is expression. That's it's masculine in that manner, as far as there's a
and and
law, there's a structure to it. But
and action too.
right, so this is what I'm about to get to with that, right? The experience is the feminine component, right? It's the it's unpredicted. You cannot measure that, right? You can never measure. That means that all of us can be living in this expression, but despite us all experiencing the same expression, we still not having the same experience. That's crazy, right? Does that I don't even know if that even you can even say that it makes sense, but it makes sense though. You feel me? Like we all live
Hmm.
in life. We all live in this world. We all live on this planet, right? Together, but we all don't experience the planet in the same way. So
Hmm.
we all on this expression, but the experience within that expression is different. That's the feminine with the masculine. The masculine is fixed. Masculine is that we all here is life. That's the expression. And the feminine is the experience, which is the unpredictability of it. So
Exactly.
yeah, there you
And
go.
just to clarify for our viewers, when we're talking about masculine and feminine, we're not necessarily talking about men and women.
Right.
If
It's
you truly
energy.
understand the idea behind the yin and yang symbol, you would understand that that isn't within all of us. Some have more masculine, some have more feminine. So that idea of like expression and experience is going to be within all of us.
Right,
Not
right.
to try to limit yourself by thinking about gender at this point.
Yeah, it's not a sex. It's energy. You feel me? It's polarity, That's why I mentioned the words polarity. You have
Hmm.
hot and cold, you have night and day, masculine and feminine. You know what I'm saying?
When
Like it's
you
a spectrum.
when you say energy, when y'all hear the word energy, what comes to mind?
You can bring it into
Movement.
its correlation of vibration,
Yeah, movement,
like a
vibration.
vibe, you
What you
know?
mean by that, Yoko?
Pretty
Like
much.
you mind elaborating?
Well, for me, it's a little bit more complicated, but it's kind of simple as well.
It's
but
okay.
I'm a little bit more complex when I think about vibration and energy and
There's
how
people out
everything
there
comes to
like you.
be. Right, 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 right. But what I'm getting at is when you think about motion, there's a form of vibration that comes to it. Anything that is still has no type of vibration whatsoever. So therefore, when you say energy, something that you feel or something that is in the shape or form, that is what you possess as far as still vibration or moving vibration. It's all
Hmm.
within the same. And so that's pretty much what I was getting at when you say energy. I hear vibration. You could be in a space of an aura or a vibe, and you have
Right,
a sense of masculine or feminine energy. That's a vibe. It's a vibration.
right, right. I feel you. Pop, I heard you mention something earlier about the masculine and feminine. You want to touch back on that? What you had to say about that?
I didn't. I didn't really
I just
mention the
heard you.
masculine.
It sounded like you was agreeing with her point that she was making
I mean, yeah,
earlier.
because I can understand the polarity and the duality of it all.
Hmm.
Because again, expression. Hold on, I'm in the hallway. So because one is internal and one is external, but I do think that
I
expression.
get that.
You know what I mean? And I do
Can you?
think that.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna ask you
No, go ahead.
something.
What's that?
Now I wanted to ask you. Do you think so? You think that is you think that it's impossible to have an internal expression? I'm not saying that it is, but I'm interested in how you like what you think.
An internal expression. No, I kind of went through that. I think that you can have an internal expression, but I do think that expressing your emotions can, like, expression and outwardly can intensify whatever the experience you have. And let's say we have these social conversations, right? Socially, we're having these conversations, and like Queen was saying, she's just a listener for an aspect of the conversation, although she is, you know, um, externally experiencing whatever conversation we're
Mhm.
having, right? So that social influence, that expression can shape other people, like our expression of whatever it is we have experiencing, and it can shape other people's perceptions and experiences. So social influence and expressing your emotions can intensify the whole experience. So I think it does go hand in hand. So that's
Hmm.
like the feminine masculine. Some people say be more logical, or some people say be more emotional. But I think that emotions, when it comes to perception, really does play a role in how you experience something.
Hmm.
Because whether or not it's in your mind, it's in
Yeah,
your
they're hand in
mind.
hand. Yeah, they're hand in
Yeah.
hand.
Yes, how
Very
you
much so.
evaluate. Yeah. I think it's so crazy. I think I heard what you said, Pop. I think inward expression would is just a long way of saying an experience, right? Because like if
Mm.
I'm having an inward expression, it by default makes it an experience. I think when you don't have when you not having an experience, you are only having an expression. You're only expressing yourself when you're not experiencing it,
I
right?
no, I understand that, but no, like I
Okay.
said previously, I think it would be two roles. It's like a choice, right? You can have an experience internally or externally, but I think that the the choice to keep it internally affects your experience. That's all. It's just it affects the path that you go down that experience. It could be easier, and you can understand it faster, or it could take you a longer time, and it could be harder, and you can understand it later. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
being more
yeah.
receptive to whatever experience you have and just going with it, you usually get through it much easier as opposed to being resistant. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying.
I think I definitely see where that's coming from. I think it's more of like a little layer onto it too, to add on to that. It's like it's kind of what both of you guys are saying. I'm gonna connect it. It's like you're experiencing you have an expression to their expression. So like let's say someone does something awkward, like they said something that maybe was hurtful to you, like where you received that receiving of it is the experience, but the
We'll have a
internal feelings you
response.
gain
Right.
from like whatever you feel of that is your expression. So you it their expression causes an expression in you.
See, but
if
I think
if that
you determine. I get what you're saying.
You
you're
still
not good
determine it, how the what the experience
experience,
is, because you can
right?
choose to
Mhm.
you can choose, all right, I'm gonna make this a fight toe to toe, or
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna act in kindness, I'm gonna continue in love, like you could choose. But that feeling of expression that was invoked in you from your experience, from their expression, so it's kind of just like it's just like a circle that just kind of
Hmm. But
like
I think
kind of
I that's
feeds each other.
interesting.
No,
But
you know what?
I think but you have to keep in mind, right, that a person can express themselves to me and you, Queen, in the same manner, and we will take that expression in total different ways, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So the point I'm getting to is like that I'm saying that nothing that expresses itself to you truly has the authority to define your experience in relations to it. That's like if everybody is calling you fat, or saying like bullying you or picking on you, you know what I'm saying, you don't have to identify with the expression. You feel what I'm saying? You can still identify with your worth, your value, who you are, the love for yourself, things that you can truly hold that experience. So I know people cause you to have to find an experience with yourself, but I'm saying they don't define that experience that you find yourself with. You get what I'm saying? Because I get what you're saying. You're saying that people, you have to deal with something, because people's gonna express themselves to you, and you have to deal with that. But I'm saying that in how you deal with it is all up to you, always. And ain't nothing that you can rationalize outside of you truly is deserving of deciding that for you, other than you, because it's your experience.
So let's say like they're bullying you for whatever reason. They're calling you fat. They're calling you ugly. That's the outward that they're pushing.
Expression. Uh-huh.
Their
That's
expression
them
from
expressing.
their
Uh-huh.
side.
Right.
Your expression of, like, I'm gonna give two different sides of the story. So like one person would be like, their expression would be like, all right, that's
She's close.
hurtful to me, you know
What you
and they
say?
have the variable of either choosing the experience of either reacting or being proactive or
I
reacting.
get what it is. I get what you're
And
saying.
then the next
Yeah.
scenario would be like they're bullying you, and that person takes it in, and the expression invokes, instead of like a rage or sadness, it invokes more confidence in them. And
Right. So
then
your expression isn't like, so they express themselves to you, right? They bullying you, right? Your expression is not coming until you internalize that experience. So your
yeah,
expression
that's
is
what I'm
gonna
saying.
be it's gonna be like a side effect. It's gonna be the default
Right.
effect. You're not gonna intentionally or consciously try to express
Mhm.
yourself. It's like if Yoko tried to push me, right, or bully me, right? The way I express myself to him is only defined by how I internalize his expression towards me. You feel me? And that's my experience. So he could push me, and I could feel like, yo, I could break this guy up, man. Let me just save him the time, and spare him and walk away. Like, that expression that I gave off to him was only based off the experience that I had internally based off his expression. So it's like his expression does not define my expression or make me express. My expression only comes based off my experience.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm trying to say.
Okay, okay.
That's why I said she's close. Like understanding the difference between and identifying what is the expression and what is actually the experience.
Right,
So
that's it.
she's right there, but it's kind of a
Context.
slight discrepancy due to what she identifies with. And that I kind of do want to bring it back because I identify the emotion with the experience and the feelings with the expression. Because me, I like to get to a
Mhm.
base ground definition of each. And because I do that, is they have a kind way of relating to each other. And so when we get into emotion, it's more of instinctive or intuitive feelings as distinguished from reasoning or knowledge.
Mhm.
And within the experience, it's an event or occurrence that leaves an impression on someone. So it's a practical contact. And so when you get into an emotional state, that's an experience that you're feeling, which you can express. And when you
Mhm.
get into feelings, that's showing emotion or a sense of sensitivity. It's a state. It's a more of a reactional space, and that puts you in the expression, which
Mhm.
it's more of the process of making something known of one's thoughts or feelings from what they've received from their experience. Like you're right in that space. And this right here is what I would love for most individuals to understand is that when you get into understanding certain theories or ideologies, tap into the base ground and do your due diligence of each word because it's going to have its similarities and they're going to relate in a way to give you a logical standing within your reasoning on how you can put it together.
The
Right,
nuance of it all.
right. Yo, Rock. I think I heard you was gonna say something. Or you still here? He popped out. I think he popped out. Um, I wanted to touch on real quick the um the law, right? The law of mentalism, right? Because it's I bring it up every now and again, but I think it'll really highlight how significant this experience expression thing is, right?
Hmm.
If people not familiar, right? The law of mentalism is a principle in Hermetic philosophy, which suggests that all is mind, and that the universe operates as a mental construct, right? Essentially, that means that everything in existence, from matter to energy to thought, originates from the same source, the mind. Um, there's a lot of research, study, and evidence supporting this, right? And I would love for everyone to do their research and do their diligence. But I want y'all to really emphasize on is that if everything is mind, right, then everyone identifying with matter or the reality or the expression, right, is actually counterintuitive. It's actually backwards, right? We should be identifying with the state in which we want to experience things through and allow that to materialize and manifest into our life. And that will be the expressions in which we want to experience. You know what I'm saying? Like we have people want to get married, some people want to have families, some people want prosperity, good health, people want to travel the world, some people want children, you know? And these is all expressions because within these expressions they hope to experience this experience. And I'm saying truly to have anything materialize and manifest in our life or express itself in our life, we truly must embody the experience before the expression. That is crazy how simple but how many people like just totally go in the opposite direction with that, you know. And I think it has a lot to do with the conditioning and the way society is set up, but that's a topic another
Hmm.
discussion, you know.
Right. Right.
I'd like to point it out to just ignorance, because with a lot of people would hear this and be like, oh, he's speaking on some theoretical, like, kind of like my philosophy. And it can
Right.
correlate to like most science, like when you think
Application.
about it,
Right.
like our senses, the five senses that we have, well, the basic five senses that we have, sight, ear, smell, like most of that perceived reality is based off of like what we experience with the thing. Like I was watching a video, and in the state of all is mind, in that kind of reality, the um the known question that we always ask ourselves, like, if a tree falls, do we
Mm-hmm.
hear it? And the answer would be technically no, because the tree falling creates a vibration. Is that sound?
Hmm.
No, but that vibration that travels to us in our ear, and then our ear transforms that into sound, which is what we
Hmm.
hear, which is our reality.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Yep.
something that can be proven through science. So it's not even just like a philosophical idea. It's if you look at it, it's deeply woven in the fabric of our reality. Even when you think about like quantum physics, like, when we look at, if anybody knows anything about like looking at particles and atoms, like, or a wave function, like the wave function
Mm-hmm.
literally collapses when we look at it, because how do we look at something?
Yeah.
We
Slip
the
knot.
light the
Yeah.
light bounces off of that object and receives it in our eye, and because of that, our act of looking at it literally
Right.
causes the function to collapse, where we
Right.
can't see it as a wave, we see it as a particle.
Right. I heard about that. Pop, you still with us?
Yeah,
He said, yeah, I'm here.
I do have a question for y'all.
what?
Now you good, bro.
I'm
You good.
listening, guys. I'm
I
listening.
You
I do have
listening?
a
You
question.
listening? But
I
No,
do
I
have a
gotta
question.
take this in.
now you good, bro. But Queen, before you remember that question.
Mhm.
I just wanna fill people in on what you just mentioned, right? She was um she was talking about the double slit experiment, right? Uh, it says here it's a famous experiment in quantum mechanics. This experiment demonstrates the wave particle duality of light and matter. In a double slit experiment, light or other particles like electrons is shown through two parallel slits, and a resulting pattern on a screen behind the slit shows interference, which indicates wave like behavior. However, when particles are sent through one at a time, they still create an interference pattern, suggesting that each particle interferes with itself as if it were a wave. This experiment highlights the strange and counterintuitive nature of quantum mechanics, which particles can exhibit both wave-like and particle-like properties depending on how they are observed. It is a fundamental experiment that has deep implications for our understanding of reality. So what she just mentioned, what she brought up, and a lot of things that we speaking about now, it's a lot of information and evidence supporting this. Like, so don't just take our word for it. Do your diligence and you know go down that rabbit hole. But what was your question, though, Queen?
I thank you for bringing that up. Definitely.
What's that? I can't hear you.
I know. I was just saying thank you for bringing that up. And kind of backing that up and explaining it. To our viewers. So
For
my
sure, for sure.
question to you guys would be, if you if you're up to date, because like I recently watched a documentary on babies, and children, and it kind of the overall point that I've grasped from that is that we are not born blank, like how we think babies are born blank and they just learn and experience stuff. We actually are born with all of the tools necessary to function as adults as we are functioning now. It's just working out those pathways to strengthen them as we grow older.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, when it comes to expression or experience for a growing child or just a growing human in this world, what do you think that generally throughout life we experience more of? And I know we definitely experience both, but what do you think overall, like, we experience more of? Or I guess the experience question. What do you think necessarily, I guess, happens more often, the
I
experience
see.
or the expression?
I think
More so.
go ahead, bro.
I was just gonna say more so the experience within the expression of the life that they have been given. And this here is the realm that we're in, as far as the three-dimensional realm, reality. They're experiencing the expression of the world they that's been brought into. So it's more of an experience of the expressions of life, like coming across a table or the first baby bottle or their mother's milk. These are experiences that they are given from the expression of what life has given them. So it's more so for me, how I see it, is in the experience of expressions.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I feel that. Um, Pop, you wanna go, or you wanna wait till last? Save the best for last.
It's up to you, Rabbit. Go ahead.
All right.
Oh my god.
So I think um I think as far as with the baby perspective, I think you're absolutely right, right? And I think what happens is with life, I don't want to get too much into conspiracies, right? But I really feel like the things that controls how life is predominantly expressed to us, right? Really tries to influence the experience within the expression. And I think that begins to pervert, right, the child's experience through life. And a lot of them end up adults that stop identifying with the experience and start identifying with the expression. This is why when we was little kids, a lot of us was able to be in the room alone for hours on end, just with dolls or a toy and totally content. You understand? That experience was not defined by no particular expression. But as we got older, we expressions started seeming more promising than just the experience itself. And I
Mm.
think through that, we got rewired and conditioned, right, to fall out of our natural experience or our natural nature. Like you said, like we come with all the things that we need, and it's hooked up the correct way. It just need uh reinforcing and maturing. I think the issue is as we get older, it gets rewired, right, and damaged due to the way life tried to express and impose its experience into people's experience. Look at religion, for example, right? That's an expression, right? It's an expression of something that's attached to spirituality, God, and divinity, right? But they don't stop there. They don't only want to present the expression of it to you. A lot of religions persist and insist on you identifying with a particular experience in relation to that expression. And I'm saying that's just an example of what I feel in a lot of ways life implements that, especially with a baby growing up, whether it's parents indirectly doing it, whether it's the religion that indoctrinated the parents, which influences their parenting into the children that does it, whether it's the school system. You get where I'm coming from? So
Mhm.
Yeah,
it's
to bring
it
it full circle, kind of like nature versus nurture.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right, right. That you made it as simple. It can't get no simpler than that. Yes, exactly.
I think too, like there's definitely a strong part of it, like with nurture, because like when you think about it, like like you have babies, and strangely they come out with like their own little quirks and personalities, and they carry that through adulthood. And I think a lot of like what they experience throughout reality, like how they interact and how defense mechanisms they look to survive, throughout, is like based on the experience they have and then turn
Mm-hmm.
into their expression. But I still think like when you grow old, like that experience that changes you, the idea of us like actualizing, and is to kind of not really, I guess, like try to change your experience, but more or less understand your expression.
Right, right. Because I mentioned this in our last session we had, right, where it's sort of like in the movie Matrix, right, when Neo met the Oracle, right, in the park, and she asked him if he wanted a piece of candy, and as he was taking it, right, he said to her like, why do you ask me if you already know I'm gonna take it or not, right? And she said to him, you're not here to make a decision, right? You're not here to make a choice. You're here to figure out why you made the choice, right? You're here to figure out why you made that decision that you already made,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So from that perspective, that ties back in what you were saying with the baby, everything that you need is already there. All the choices that need to be made for why they need to be made is already preset in a way that you're supposed to mature, develop, and experience yourself. But like I said, a lot of things in life pervert and it take us away from ourselves. So that ends up being the catch, the catch 22 with that. But if you don't have anything else to add on, I want to hear what Pop has to say, and he can close this out, and I can wrap it up.
Okay. As far as
The baby,
yeah,
yeah,
the babies go, I'm gonna take it back a little bit. I'm gonna go to where
okay,
the fetus, right? Because generally 20 to 30 weeks, that's when babies generally get this spark of consciousness. They get their emotional and social experiences,
Mm-hmm.
sensory, cognitive, all of these things, 20 to 30. So that's why women can have abortions and things like that before this time, because it's generally not considered a human being until they can assist living on themselves. Like you were saying, Queen, I think you said something along the lines of we have all of the skills and the utensils we need as babies to be human beings. Not necessarily so. You know what I'm saying? Because if we, if we think before that, I think that our experiences as children and as fetuses really start within the womb, right? 20,
Hmm.
20 to
Mm-hmm.
20 to 30 weeks, right? I think that's important because we don't know how much we're hearing and how much emotional information we're taking in. That is important. I think most of who we are comes from whatever our host is feeling, not necessarily saying and doing. You know what I'm saying? So I think that I kind of a little on the fence about whether or not we have the utensils as children. I think I think that experience really does play a factor in that. But um, as far as your question about what do we experience more in life, I would say I would say emotions and positive emotions simply because
I agree.
yeah, I would say positive emotions because that would make more of an impact to something such as a fetus or a child than anything negative. Because usually when we're children, negative emotions we try to block out. We cover our eyes, we cover our ears. It's just something within us that tells us something isn't for us, or we start crying, or whatever it is. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So I think that we experience more positive emotions.
I feel that. Feel that, Pop. Appreciate that. Anybody else have anything to add before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I'd just like to add, if step out of this conversation, for anybody listening to the whole podcast, um, this conversation is another great example of experience and expression. Different people with different experiences and
Mm-hmm.
expression coming
Mm-hmm.
to and sharing ideas, and
Wonderful.
combating it with our experience and relating
Wonderful.
it and changing our experience, or our altering our expressions, with this conversation. So that's just another way that you can kind of see how this kind of flows throughout our daily life. And it's not just conversations like this, it's conversations with your partner, conversations with your coworker, conversations with your child, like
Hmm.
you daily, from the moment, even in your dreams, but initially from the moment you wake up, and you go out and you experience and we interact with another, or have this life we call, being a human being,
Right.
you're constantly experiencing an expression. So I just want to
Right.
kind of give a note to that.
Right. Definitely. Definitely. Yo. So, we at that hour mark. Appreciate everybody for tapping in. It's TUR. We have the Royal Bully Gang with us. We hope to have way more collaborations in the future as we move along. But keep tapping in with us. Stay tuned in. This is Rabbit. We got Yoko Sugoi. We got Queen, and we got Pop. Tap in with y'all later. Y'all stay true.
Thank
One
you for
love.
having us. Bye.
Later, guys.